Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to Wealth Wednesday. And if you are a new listener, shout out to you. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you guys tapping into the Latin Wealth podcast. I know over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of new followers, a lot of new subscribers, and whatnot. So shout out to you guys. If you guys didn't know about Wealth Wednesday is a weekly segment that we do on the Latin Wealth platform where we talk about trending news, topics, and just things that relate to the Latino community uh, by two Latinos. In addition to trending news and whatnot, we're definitely going to be tapping into also just different history lessons within the Latino community as well. So just telling stories of individuals that maybe you have never heard of or don't know very much about. We want to definitely put a spotlight on those people going forward in 2024. But on today's episode, we're going to have a phenomenal conversation. Unfortunately, Jeremiah is sitting this one out today. It's all good. He'll be back next week on the regular schedule. But yeah, we're still gonna have a phenomenal conversation today. I found a very, very interesting article that I think is gonna help a lot of listeners out there with setting themselves up correctly for 2024 when we talk about financial literacy and finances, right? So I came across this article, and the title of this article says, "Are you rich?" Here's what Americans think you need to be considered wealthy. All right. So they surveyed a bunch of different people in America, and they asked them, like, what do you think equates to being wealthy in America? What is the net worth number that you think is makes somebody wealthy, makes somebody wealthy in America? And so the survey found that the average was approximately $2.2 million that you need to have to be considered wealthy in America. Again, that is what they asked people, and that's the number that they pretty much collectively came up with. And I found this very interesting because it wasn't too far off of what the actual number is. So to be considered in the top 2% wealth of America, you have to have a net worth about $2.4 million, right? So it actually aligns closely with the survey perception of wealth. So what people think wealthy is, how much you need to have, it's pretty close to what the actual number is to be in this top 5%. Now, mind you, top 2%, 2.4 million, top 5% of the wealthiest people in the world or in America need to have a net worth of $1.03 million. Top 5%. Top 10% of the population has a net worth of approximately $854,000 a year. So very, very interesting stuff here. And I thought it was interesting to bring up this topic because a couple months ago in 2023, towards the end, I was invited to pretty much host a panel in New York. And we were talking about breaking into wealth as people of color. And so the first question that I had asked the people on the panel, and there was probably about five other people on the panel, I asked them, what does wealth mean to you? Right? When talking about wealth, talking about money, we again, they asked the Americans what they perceived wealth is, and they said, "Yo, you got to have $2.2 million." And the people on stage actually all had different perceptions of wealth. And it kind of ties into the Latin wealth and why we created this platform. It's not just all about the money and the numbers, right? There's layers to wealth and what it means to different people. It depends on their education, depends on their experiences, and so forth and so forth. So what I love about this article, not only did they give those, cool statistics, they went beyond the numbers and they really wanted to give a better understanding of what wealth is beyond, again, those statistics. And wealth is solely not about the figures in your bank account or your investment portfolio, as we know. It's also how you perceive and use your resources, which is, I think it's powerful to dive into some tips and some perspective to understand and potentially for you to achieve wealth, right? And again, I think this is a phenomenal time to talk about some of these different topics as we are, 2 weeks into 2024. And hopefully you can implement some of these tools and some of these ideologies into your life to help you achieve wealth or even help you figure out and narrow down what wealth means to you. So I'm gonna go over the first one. I think the first one is probably the most common thing that you're gonna hear when talking about financial literacy, building wealth, and whatnot. This is more of a tip that we've spoken about on this podcast. And honestly, we've spoken about a lot of these different things on this podcast. But again, it's good to bring it all together into one space. And the first one is saving and spending habits, right? Being able to save and spending less than you earn is a foundation aspect of accumulating wealth. And at least achieving your financial goals and whatever that may be for you. And it's crazy because thinking about saving and spending habits, we live in such a world, or not even a world in America, where we are like ran by consumerism, right? And consumerism and debt being an all-time high. I know we made an episode recently talking about the national debt. I think it's over 2 trillion now. I haven't checked the numbers recently, but when we made the episode, it was close to over $1 trillion, and I'm pretty sure it's over 2 trillion now. So with the debt, with high consumerism, it can be really difficult to have healthy spending habits, right? Not only for you guys, but for us as well, right? You can be going on social media and you see the next phone, the next car, the next clothes, or the new Stanley cups that people are going crazy over in Target and Walmart or wherever. It can be difficult. It can be difficult where you're seeing ads every single day on TVs when you're driving, again on your phone, advertisements for different things, different deals. It can be, again, very difficult to have healthy spending habits, right? And another thing that we see a lot in our community is, man, especially Latinos, we work hard, right? We work really hard. Now, some of us love to work. We love to get down and dirty and, be proud of the work that we put in. And some of us, in addition to that, we like to work and we also like to see something from the results of our hard work, right? We like to see like, yo, I put in hard work. I want to see something from it, whether it's buying myself some new AirPods or some new shoes. I want to see something or have something that makes me feel good in order to justify the hard work that I just put in. And to be honest, I don't think that's unfair to think. That's not unfair to have that mindset. It's just having the discipline to have the delayed gratification that maybe like, yo, I don't think I necessarily need these items or need that right now. Maybe I can put this money towards my emergency fund, or I can put this money towards my child going to college, or whatever the kid's case is, or helping somebody that's less fortunate, right? That's where the discipline has to come in. And doing something that maybe we all don't like to do is live within our means, right? 2024 is going to be, we spoke about it multiple times. It's going to be a year of, man, I feel like it's going to be the year of fireworks, man. You got the elections, you got Bitcoin, you got the halving happening, stocks. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but there's going to be a lot that happens this year. And when there's a lot of uncertainty, you definitely want to put yourself in a situation where you are living within your means, right? So maybe not getting the vehicle that you can afford, but getting the car that's a lot less, a lot more affordable, right? So you can use that extra income to save or put it towards investments and whatnot, right? Just because you can afford, $800 car note doesn't necessarily mean that you should go with that car because life is going to happen. As we know, life is going to happen. You may not get that bonus. You may get laid off from your job and so forth and so forth. And you want to be able to put yourself in a situation where you're living within your means. So if you do have to cut back, you are okay. So I know I said a lot there, and we talk about saving and spending a lot, but that's definitely something that we should continue to practice in 2024. A perspective that I want to hit on is viewing money as a tool, right? Viewing money as a tool and a means to improve your life rather than a source of stress can really shift our perspective and our approach to wealth. Small steps like allocating extra funds towards high interest debt can help in building a brighter financial future for us. And I think in our community, again, I'm speaking from personal experience, our relationship with money can be negative, right? When we think of money growing up, or even if we ask some of the older folks in our family, like, what do you think about money? It can be evil, it can be stressful, it can make us feel these negative emotions. And when you think about the relationship that we have with our kids or our parents and whatnot, I would assume that you guys want to have a positive one, right? An uplifting one, right? You want to have good memories with these people, right? You want to have a loving relationship with these people. And I think it's definitely if you feel those emotions, and I would even encourage you, like, yo, when you think of money, what are the 20 thoughts or the 10 thoughts that you immediately think of, right? And write those down. And then take a step back and figure out where these triggers are coming from and figure out how you can grow and you can overcome those triggers so you can heal and ultimately, see it as a tool, right? Because that's all it is. Money, it's just a tool. That's all it is. It's a piece of paper and we can exchange it for various things. And it should just really be seen as a tool. I don't think we should have such an emotional attachment, especially negative attachment towards money. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll think at like an investor, where a lot of investors see money as like little workers to go out and work for us, right? So that's why you say like, that's why you hear a lot of investors are like, yo, I'm trying to put my money into something that allows my money to work for me. That's how they're thinking. They're like, what vehicle can I put my money in? What area can I put my money in where it's going to be working for me, where I can be asleep, where I can be hanging out with the kids and I know my money is growing for me. There's different vehicles, whether it's, stocks, crypto is really volatile. It can be a business. It can be various things that, we've spoken about a couple of these things on the podcast, but the point is getting to a point where you see money as a tool, and then eventually you see money to where they can be like your own workers, where you send them out to different vehicles and they produce for you, and you don't have to be the one producing all the time. Okay. Hopefully that's making sense. Um, Look, another perspective I want to go over is, having life goals over money. And I think this is when I go back to that question that I asked the panel, a lot of people on the stage, they had, different answers and whatnot, but I think it all came back to, the next two perspectives that I'm about to hit on and, having life goals over money. Wealth is not just about accumulating money, but also fulfilling life aspirations. So for me, this is when I named the podcast and this platform Latin Wealth, that's what I really meant when I spoke about Latin wealth. When I had the idea of putting this together, yes, we're talking about financial literacy, business, and whatnot, but on a deeper level, what is it in your life that you are looking to fulfill? What aspirations, what purpose are you placed on this earth to fulfill, right? We're not, I can almost assure you, we are all here for a divine purpose, and it's not just to chase money all day, every day, right? You may be in a position where you are skilled and wise enough to make an abundance of money, but I'm sure behind that, maybe you are someone that are supposed to teach your community on how to do the same. Or maybe you use that money as a tool to provide resources in different neighborhoods, right? So taking a step back and really identifying what is it for me? What is my purpose? And I know we hear that all the time. It's such like a cliche question at this point, but maybe ask yourself what fulfills you, right? Really dig deep and figure out what that is. Because at the end of the day, if you're just chasing money 24/7, I'll be the first one to tell you you're going to get that money. You're going to make that money. And whatever you want to do with that money, whether it's, again, buy that house, buy the shoes, the chains, the jewelry, whatever it is, that's all going to happen. But what happens after that? What happens when you do get that money? What happens when you do get, those things that you want? Um, that's where, the aspiration and purpose comes in, and really our life mission and what we're supposed to accomplish. That's when that comes in as well. So look, take the time to think about what that is. And the last one that I want to hit on real quick is flexibility and options. This is something else that the people on stage were referring to and talking about. And man, for me, when I think of wealth as well, I think of wealth often equates to having choices, right? Being able to take time off for the family, being able to travel when we want, being able to even invest in different businesses, different ideas, learning new skills. Um, I think flexibility and having the ability to have options is a huge indicator of wealth. So that's what I wanted to go over today. Hopefully you found some value. And if you didn't find, value from that, I want to go over some tools, some practical tools to help you on your wealth building journey. And so the first one that I have up is Mint Mobile. And now look, there's variations in uh, of all these different tools that I'm about to list off. And there's, you can probably find your own version of everything. But I like Mint Mobile. It's a tool called Mint. It's a free online financial wellness tool and app that can track actual spending and budgets, and actually track your progress to your goals. We're not getting we're not getting paid by any of these. We're not sponsored by any of these. These are actually apps that I have on my phone. So Mint Mobile helps you track spending, budgeting, and your track your financial goals. The second one is Bank Novo, which is an online business bank account. It's very easy to sign up with. The reason why I threw this in here is because 2023, I've done business with a handful of folks, and it's like, yo, I'm trying to send you an invoice, or I want you to send me an invoice, and they're like, can you just cash at me? Can you just PayPal me? Right? It doesn't come off as very professional. So, hey, have a business bank account. If it's some of these are too complicated to sign up with, if you don't have enough money, because some of these banks you got to have at least like $500, $1,000, or whatever the case in there. Um, Bank Novo, you can just sign up for free. All you need is an EIN. So register your business. You don't even have to have an LLC. All you have to do is you can be a sole prop. And as long as you have an EIN, you can sign up through Bank Novo, and pretty much get started within, I think, 3 days. And on there, you can start invoicing people. There's different tools to help you with your business and whatnot. So that's a tool that I would recommend for you to not only come off more professional, but just help you on your business journey as well. TD Ameritrade is an online broker for stock trading, long-term investment, and retirement planning. So if you're looking to invest in the stock market, in 2024 is the year that you want to start investing more consistently, TD Ameritrade is the one that I use. It's the one on my phone. I know you can use Fidelity, you can use E-Trade. Um, Obviously, there is Robinhood, which is extremely popular. Look, use any of these. My biggest thing is just get started, right? Just get started. Buy one share of a stock. Start putting your expenses in Mint Mobile or use an Excel sheet. Just start doing something. Take the step. And a lot of time you take that step, you'll feel that dopamine, you feel that instant gratification that you actually long for in other areas. You feel good about doing something positive towards your financial success. A couple books before we head out of here. The Psychology of Money is a newer book that has came out, pretty much about timeless lessons on wealth, greed, and happiness. Definitely check that out. The Psychology of Money, The Wealth Warrior by Linda Garcia. Look, we had Linda on the podcast, and she's such a wealth of knowledge when talking about wealth, stock trading, and investing and whatnot. She actually wrote a book, and it's pretty much her personal journey onto building wealth and stock trading and whatnot. It's a great book for beginners. It's super dope how she intertwines the lessons of investing into her life. And she even mixes culture in there as well. So I love that book, especially for inspiring, investors, even Latinas out there that feel like, yo, I'm the only one that thinks like this, and I need somebody else out there, or I need a little push. The Wealth Warrior by Linda Garcia. We had her on the podcast. A couple more. Any book on Warren Buffett, pretty much. And the reason why I said this is because, look, when you want to achieve wealth, when you want to achieve anything in life, the best thing you probably could do is study the people that have done it already. Warren Buffett is one of the most renowned investors in America and in the world. So why not study what he has, mapped out, the blueprint that he laid out for us, right? So I'd say pretty much any book by Warren Buffett. Last book I would recommend is Money Master the Game, Seven Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. Now, this is the one book that I have not read on this list by Tony Robbins, but I've only heard phenomenal things about this book. I think this book has like 15,000 or 30,000 reviews on Amazon. Um, a lot of the people that I kind of study, they recommend this book. So this is definitely something I'm going to check out and will probably, include it in the podcast, the up and coming episodes. But Money Master the Games by Tony Robbins, Seven Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. Those are the tools, those are the books. I want to end with this. Look, well, having a net worth about $2.2 million, I think that was a number in the beginning that Americans seeing that being wealthy. Maybe it is the benchmark for being rich in America, but it's just a number, right? And wealth is really a subjective concept. Having healthy financial habits and personal perspective on money are crucial in defining and achieving wealth. So definitely take a step back, understand, what wealth means to you. What are your personal goals? They may not be $2.2 million. It may be like, yo, I just want freedom, flexibility, and the time to go pick up my kids when I want, and some extra income from a side hustle. That's all love, man. I love that. So take a step back, identify what wealth is to you. Hopefully, some of these tools and these tips and these perspectives can help you with that. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with, look, if you guys don't really want it, if you guys don't feel like you can achieve it, if you guys don't see yourself achieving these things, it's not going to happen. It's just simply not. You have to believe, you have to put yourself there, and you got to take those steps to make it happen. It's your boy Chris. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.